In 1954, black, white, Indian, and colored people from 200 different organizations came together in a city near Durban to sponsor one idea, the Freedom Charter, which later in 1996 influenced and shaped many of the idea of the new democratic constitution of South Africa. The idea was first brought forward by a Professor Matthews who had returned to South Africa from the United States. In his speech, he called it the Congress of the People, where every person, regardless of race or color, would be represented in the new South Africa. Within weeks, the ANC went to work on this idea of a constitution for the new South Africa. The main laws in this constitution were to be decided by the people themselves with the help of the other liberation movements. This idea was sent to cities, townships, and villages with one simple question asked to everyone. If you could set the laws, what would you do to make South Africa a happy place for all the people who lived in it? The idea of the constitution was received by the people, and the people responded. The answers came from all parts of the country, from church groups, players' associations, women's organizations, schools, and trade unions. The answers came written in scrap pieces of papers, torn exercise books, and printed documents. The people had a lot to say about the better future for South Africa. And the most common answer they had was one man, one vote. Now, this might seem like an obvious requirement for a democratic country, but in that era of South Africa, this was nothing but a dream for the majority of people. The ANC then took all these answers and drafted the Freedom Charter. On 25 to 26 of June in 1955, more than 3,000 leaders and people gathered in Kliptown, a multiracial town where there were 300 Indians, 200 coloreds, and 100 whites. The majority of the 3,000 people were black people. The Freedom Charter was read to the people in English, Sesotho, and Xhosa. After each section was read, the crowd cheered in approval. And on the second day of the gathering, the police came down to break the gathering, and the crowd's response was singing the African national anthem, Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika. The 2 days were a success. This gathering is what is known as the Congress of the People. It is here that the final document of the Freedom Charter was accepted by the liberation movement. The Freedom Charter had the core principles and vision of what the future South Africa would look like. The people shall govern. South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. One man, one vote.